What were the 9 months like of your firstborn, Eli?
Okay, so how I was saying, I didn't have 9 months. I had 7 months with Eli, and um, so I had a healthy pregnancy throughout like those 7 months, but then something happened, and how I was telling you is I thought it was heartburn, but it was not heartburn. It was what's it called?
What did you feel? Like heavy or like?
Okay, so it was like really tight, and every time like I would take a breath, it would be like
Hard.
painful. Like preeclampsia. There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, preeclampsia.
preeclampsia.
So what was happening? I was having high blood pressure where it was causing my liver to swell up. And so by the time I got to the hospital, my liver was so swollen that it was pushing out my baby. So I was already open up already. I was 5 centimeters dilated, and so they took me right away to the emergency room, to the surgery room, because I chose to have C-section. They gave me the option of do vaginal birth, but it was still I had like a risky. They gave me that option, and it was more risky to do vaginal than C-section.
But Eli was small.
Yeah, so they told me that.
Okay.
So they told me like your baby is very small. He has no strength. I mean, all the strength that you're gonna be pushing him out. Like he's not gonna be able to like push himself out because he's gonna be so tiny. So that's why I said like, well, let me do C-section. Like, why would I even want to risk like go through all that? And so I chose C-section, and it was so crazy, like that experience. So I was scared. I went into the hospital not thinking or not expecting me to walk out with a baby. Or actually, I didn't even walk out with him because he stayed in the hospital for like a whole month.
Wow.
And so I was just not expecting any of that. How I was telling you guys that I went into the hospital for a doctor's note because I already needed a doctor's note because my boss was asking me for it.
Yeah.
Because I had already missed like 3 days of work. And so I did not expect any of it to happen. And so going through that, I remember me going into the surgery room, and I was so scared. Like I was shaking, and I was just like in this, it's a nightmare. I mean, you walk into this surgery room and it's just a metal table. And there's like a whole bunch of doctors around you, and you don't know any of them.
Yeah.
And so I remember this doctor, she came to me. I had never seen her before. Yeah. Like, she wasn't even my doctor. She came and she told me, like, mija, in Spanish, like, it's going to be okay. Like, don't be afraid. Like, I'm here. I'll take care of you. I'm going to be the one that's going to, like, do all the procedures.
She's your nurse?
She was my doctor. And I had no idea who she was.
She was going to perform the C-section?
The C-section. So she was just holding my hand, and because she knew I was, like, freaking out. I was so scared.
Kind of like right now.
Kind of like right now. Yeah, I am. And my hands are sweating. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Okay.
Where was I? During that time, so she told me, like, okay, my first name is Yadira. She's like, okay, Yadira, like, we'll see you in a bit. And I literally, like, it felt like I just closed my eyes and I opened them. And when I opened them, I remember me trying to talk, like don't do anything. Like, I have, like, really bad pain. And then I heard a doctor saying, like, welcome back, Yadira. And I'm like, wait, like, what? Like, what? Like, that just happened. But I remember me being in a lot of pain. So I was trying to tell them, like, don't do anything. Like, you don't touch me.
Yeah.
And so the first thing that came to my mind is my baby, obviously. Like, where's my baby?
Yes, of course.
And so I couldn't even talk. I mean, during that time, I was just so dead. Like, I couldn't even talk. And they took me out, and I see Isa coming in, like, and he tells me, like, the baby, I saw him, like, he's okay. He's so tiny, and he's just so cute. And so I'm like, okay, good. Like, I was in so much pain that I wasn't even processing the words that he was telling me. And so I was literally in pain all day that day. So I couldn't even walk. From the C-section. I couldn't. I didn't see Eli until the second day. So yeah, it was just really hard. That whole experience was terrible. I mean, I can say it was really bad. But and then I decided to have a second child.
And how's the second one?
My pregnancy was not easy. Like those 9 months with Ezra were not easy. I had morning sickness, and I wouldn't say morning because it's all day sickness.
Yeah, like why do
It's
they
not
call
even
it
morning. Like it's all day.
I don't know why.
It's probably a man.
Yeah, I know. Probably a man made it up.
Yeah.
So I had all day sickness with Ezra for up to 5-6 months. Like I would not eat. I mean, I would eat, but not how I usually eat. And so, yeah, it was really bad with Ezra.
Vanessa, how were those 9 months with Aaliyah?
Well, my 9 months, I had all day sickness for sure. Like the whole 6 months.
When did that start though?
The moment,
Like the moment you got pregnant?
First trimester? No, not the moment I got pregnant. I would say
And like immediately
first
after?
trimester.
oh, I'm pregnant. I'm like throwing up.
Like less than 14 weeks for sure. So maybe like the second month of being pregnant, you feel like nauseous, which is normal, but for me it just never went away. And then I also had a lot of heartburn. Like, I mean, not just heartburn, like acid reflux, like where it would shoot up to the back of my throat. Like if I were just to go
And
it would
burn.
come out.
Oh,
And it'll be like acid. Like
oh God.
yeah, and it would
It's the worst.
yeah, I remember like I couldn't even lay down. Like I mean, I could never lay down. Like even if I was on the couch for a little bit, se me subía. Like I couldn't eat any tomato or spicy, and like for
Yeah, I
me
heard
that was
that.
pure torture because I eat chili with everything. Like chili for me is like I can't eat food without chili. So when I was pregnant, I couldn't eat any chili, and it was so hard. And then you get swollen, and you're huge, and your body and your hormonal. And I had like hot flashes. I don't know if you had hot flashes.
I don't think I did.
I remember like I would have to be on the floor like sitting in the coldness with the AC on blast
'Cause you felt like you were
I would
burning?
Yeah, I would just feel hot. Like I would feel like I was always sweating or something. But yeah, and then once you give birth,
It all goes.
it all goes away.
Okay, I heard that when you're in those 9 months, your body begins to develop like healthy nutrients for you. Or is that afterwards? Is that afterwards or before, where your hair grows longer?
Oh,
Yeah, that's during those 9 months.
Yeah, that happened to
Yeah,
me.
okay.
For sure. That's
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm brand new to this whole thing, as you can tell.
But then you
I don't know
lose
if
it
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm a guy.
then you get
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
bald after.
Okay, yeah, boss.
Oh, and that's what I heard too. That
Yeah.
since all those nutrients and stuff went, is that true? When
To the
like
baby?
all of that goes to the baby?
Yeah,
I
well,
think it's also the
technically-
prenatals and stuff that you're taking, huh?
Yeah,
you're
I think they
taking-
help, but honestly, I would skip them a lot. Like I
Yeah?
wouldn't take them often, like how I should. Yeah.
And
And
so
you
I
still-
felt
think
like your
it-
hair grow long.
Yeah.
Oh,
So what is that? Does the doctor prescribes that to you, or
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
like pills and stuff, or
For me, it
It's
wasn't.
prenatals. Yeah. It's, you can even take them. Like,
Oh, that's what it's
right
called?
now.
Like
you guys
the-
can take them.
that's
Yeah, like
yeah.
if you want.
Take them down.
I heard somebody tell me recently that it might be bad if you take prenatals without being pregnant.
Oh.
But I thought it wasn't bad either.
No, I don't think it's true because I'm
Yeah.
alive and
And healthy.
And healthy.
Okay, so going back, how was you went like to the hospital just because you thought you had some chest pain, right? So Vanessa, what was that moment like when you were already like
About to give
in
birth.
the hospital and you knew what
Was about to
this
go
is
down.
labor, like
Did you have C-section?
No,
Okay.
I just noticed your. Oh, never mind. I thought you didn't have your phones on.
oh, it's because her hair's covered, you know.
Yeah. It's like, girl, can you? So Aaliyah was cooking in there too long, so she didn't want to come out. So it was already like the 40th week. So I had to have make an appointment to get induced. So when you get induced, is basically they put like, I don't know what they put in you, but they basically
Tubes.
put this liquid in you or something in you to make you dilate. So basically, when you're gonna give birth naturally, you slowly start to get contractions, right? And they get worse and worse the more you start to open, the closer it gets. But when you get induced, the pain just like automatically
comes like wow.
so it's like that sucked. But I already knew that I was gonna be giving birth that day. You know what I mean? So I had a heads up. They told me not to eat, so I didn't eat. I was starving. And then it was long. I guess it was normal. It was 12 hours long, and I was pushing for an hour. I got the epidural.
That's what I never understood when they would say that my labor lasted like 11 hours. Like, are those 11 hours just like you pushing nonstop?
No.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
No.
Because I was like,
can you imagine?
Like 11 hours just
pass out.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
No.
So what is that? So 11 hours means from the minute you
like you dilating.
Yeah,
like you
you're
opening
starting to
up.
get
the minute you start
contractions.
opening up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So-
start getting cramps and I didn't experience that.
No.
Well,
Because
I
you-
didn't. Yeah.
The C-section, right?
I thought it was. I'm telling you, heartburn.
What about with Ezra?
No,
Neither.
That was a natural birth.
I had C-section with Ezra too. I
Really?
had because they were so.
You have to close.
Yeah, they were so close.
Okay, do they? I know might be a stupid question, but when they did the C-section the second time, was that in the same wound? Was it the same? They cut the same one.
The same one.
Okay. Wow,
They
you see, I
reopen
didn't
it.
know that.
I know.
When you think about
but
it,
it might be better that way you don't. Why would they create?
Is the scar big?
It's per like this. Like right now, you can't
not
see
bad.
it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because it's like.
Because I see a lot of people on
fades.
social media is like, now with this whole thing like body acceptance and stuff, they're like, oh, you have to love me with my scars and my marks and stuff, but you can't really see it.
No, I mean,
you see y'all be tripping.
Yeah,
and you know. What I
you guys
mean?
want to see it?
Right now.
They flash the C-section wound. Do not do that, please. We are.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
PG,
We're gonna,
it's a PG.
I know. We're gonna have to age restrict it. So if you do that, okay. So going back to you. So you were 12 months.
No, not
12 months.
9.
oh Lord.
12 months of labor.
No. And she was a big baby. 12 months of labor.
12.
12 hours.
Year,
Not years.
12 years. That's a world record,
It was
Vanessa.
12 years. 12
years of
long
labor.
years.
12 hours.
Oh my God.
So 12 hours.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, it was 12 hours and then 1 hour of pushing. And I got the epidural, which is also horrible getting an epidural. Do you know what that is?
What is that?
They basically put a huge needle, like I want to say maybe like that. Huge fat needle, big needle.
it's the worst.
And they put it in your back, in your spine. Like in your spine, they put it here. And basically if
You've
they
never
mess
seen
up,
it?
No.
Oh, we should show you later.
I can look
we're
up a
gonna show you.
video.
Yeah. Anyway, when they put it in, if they mess up and they hit a nerve, you can be paralyzed, basically. So it's like a
no
huge
big
deal.
deal, right?
Yeah, no big deal.
No big
Like, just a
deal.
little time. So for me, when I was getting it done, the lady would like put it in and she would take it out. Put it in and take it out because she said my back was like S-shaped. So it was hard for her. And see, I would just feel my mom was there and my mom was like, I felt like I was going to pass out because she said that it was just horrible, like watching them.
She was there.
She was there when they were putting the epidural.
I'm looking at the video right now.
Oh,
Did you just say
yes,
yeah?
that.
That does not look good. Whatever that is.
See, I don't know if it's the same as what I got, the spinal
I
cord
think it is.
shot.
Oh, no, I don't think it is. I don't know.
But it looks the same.
No, that's not it. Maybe that's what you got.
It's bigger.
Yeah, the actual needle is much bigger. It's not like a regular needle.
Dang it.
It's really bad, and it goes all the way inside.
Yeah, and then it just stays in there.
Jeez. So
Yeah.
how was the pain like?
So actually, it hurts when they put it in. I mean, you're having contractions, so it's kind of like I'm having worse pain in other areas.
Yeah, that's what
than
I
my
meant.
back.
How's the pain of the baby coming out?
It feels like when you need to poop and you can't, and you're holding it for a long time, and you start to get those
constipated.
cramps. Like, you know when you get those cramps
Yeah.
there? That's how I can explain it to a man.
man.
Because girls, I can just say
God
cramps, but
knows
like way
why
worse.
I did not do vaginal.
Yeah.
I would not.
Oh, so when you do C-section, I mean, I'm pretty sure you still feel.
I mean, it's
pain,
pretty bad.
but it's not like
Different
as bad
and
as-
healing is.
I mean, I
way
don't know
harder.
if it's better, but
Well, I
Healing
mean-
To me,
is
it is.
rough. No, I think it's hard for C-sections too because like
you're in pain for 2 weeks.
yeah, and then you
Whoa.
can't pick anything up. It's hard for you to like move and do anything, and you have like a newborn to take care of. Like
Yeah.
They're
I
like,
didn't
you
know that.
can't carry anything heavier than your newborn, and I'm like, he's just 2 pounds. Like, really?
really, am I gonna rib? Yeah. So
Wow.
Yeah, but the epidural, when they put it in, they put it in, and I guess when it starts to work, I remember feeling like fire on my whole leg, and I was like, oh my God, my leg's on fire.
Wow.
And then you just like don't feel pain.
Yeah.
Just like,
like it just lasts for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because from what I've heard, like I think there was a video that I saw where they put the pain. I don't know what the heck it's called. Right now it doesn't come to me, but the levels of pain and childbirth was like one of the highest ones.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked how the pain was, because I know it was probably excruciating.
Yeah, but they say passing a kidney stone is worse.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, like people say like that have given birth, they say passing a kidney stone is worse.
Really? Okay, so I know this is really nasty, but I've heard that there are some women who like poop.
Everybody pretty much poops.
Really, everybody. That's
much.
not just
That's
like
what-
some. It's
That's
everybody.
what this doctor told me. He says that
I think it's normal.
It's
you're
normal,
pushing.
right?
It's normal. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
pushing.
You just
Or-
can't, because you can't
Control it.
control it. And you can't. I guess
Hold
you
it
can't.
in?
What's it called?
You don't even feel it because you feel
Yeah,
like
you feel
are
like, because it
pooping
feels like you're pooping.
when you're giving birth.
So you don't know if it's poop or the baby.
or the baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it literally feels like that.
I didn't know that.
But you don't even care. Like you're in so much pain. Like you don't even.
Then
care at
afterwards
that
you
point.
start thinking like, damn,
Oh
who saw me
man.
naked?
Oh man. How many?
Like,
people
dang,
were
did I
in
do
there?
that?
Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah,
so-
you're like an open museum. Like
Doing it.
everybody just comes in like, oh,
I know. But it's funny
What's your
because they've
name
seen that for so, like they've done that
It's
over
nothing,
and over.
yeah.
They're like,
Yeah, they
whatever
don't
it
even
is,
care.
yeah. Okay, so how was the moment like when you finally got to see your baby for the first time? How was that?
I know for you it must have been hard because you didn't
It was
see him right away.
it was so hard. So I remember me telling the nurse, like, I have to go see my baby. Like, you can't, please rest. And they would tell me, like, just rest. They'll bring me a wheelchair and they'll try to help me, but I always would fall. I would always fall. And so it was, when I saw him, oh my God, I felt guilty. I was telling you guys.
Aw.
I felt, I just felt so bad. Like, I did this to my baby. You know, I felt
Even
that
though you
shame.
totally
Guilty.
didn't, but I'm sure. that
I, you know, now I was telling you guys earlier, now I know why God allowed that to happen. How I said we were not living a right life in Christ. We were not doing things right. And especially with my husband, for example, I would see a lot of things that he would do, that he would come and serve and, you know, get down from from serving. And maybe after service, a kickback in the house, you know, and
Oh,
and
really?
he'll tell me like, oh, we're not gonna drink or anything, but
yeah.
they'll
Pero
always
se
say,
tragaban
oh
ahí
yeah.
las-
Yeah, but you were seeing.
So there
that.
was a
Las
lot of
chelas.
times, there was a lot of times like that, and we knew we were not doing good, you know. So and I never spoke up, I never told them anything, and during those times, I remember we were probably married for about 4 years during that time when I was pregnant. So and we were not doing good. Like our matrimony, I wouldn't say it was bad, but we would just argue a lot because we would disagree in a lot of things. And so I know that God, well, I took it this way, like, you know, I was living a sinful life, and I'm giving you this gift and you're not treating that well. Like, you know, what body is this baby in, you know, where you're not sanctifying yourself. And God spoke to me like, this child is, first of all, I asked for him, you know, and you're not instructing that child to the right path.
Yeah.
And so I felt like it was like I wouldn't say punishment, but it was like
You needed to go through that.
in order
learn.
to like,
and
you know,
grow.
like,
So
come
what
on, like,
what would
what's-
have you done differently?
Oh my God.
Knowing that we can't go back in time, but what would be the
many
thing that you would
things.
do
I would
differently?
speak up, first of all, to my husband. I definitely would tell him. And since Isa is always like, I mean, you see him, he's a man of God, and he's always been, I guess, like that. Like I would always want to please him, you know. So I just to not argue with him, you know, just like okay, baby, like just do
Yeah.
your thing. So I would definitely, like, if I could, like, I would obviously speak up and tell him, because during that time when you're pregnant, you're obviously like start
Sensitive.
maturing. Yeah. Yeah, and start like, noticing things like, hey, like, okay, we got to grow up, like we can't be living like this. And so I would, that would be it. Like, just speak up.
Well, for me, as soon as she came out, they put her on my chest. So like right away, like with the umbilical cord and everything.
Did you cut it?
No, I didn't cut it.
Because I know they some people do it, right? They do it
her dad. I think her dad cut it.
Did you cut it, Jackie?
No, I couldn't.
None of them.
C-section.
No.
So
Eastside did
Ezra?
Ezra.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
My mom, I don't know if you like Hispanic people.
She kept
but
it. Oh yeah,
Yeah, they kept it.
That's the one that's on your belly button.
Yeah.
The little like
Thingy.
piececita, huh?
And then it comes off
Yeah.
after like 2 weeks.
I know my mom kept
It's in
them,
the album.
and it was like a jar, and
like
like I
gross.
would see it, and it's like these black things,
Ew,
like these two little black things. Mine and Benji. I'm like,
Okay, did
which
your
is
mom
better?
keep your
what the heck?
Did your mom keep your teeth?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she kept
like,
a couple
isn't
of my
that
teeth.
weird
Yeah.
too?
Yeah,
I know. It's like,
do it.
did you?
I know. I was like,
Yeah.
but I think I'm gonna keep
You
Allie.
better.
Yeah, I do it.
No, you didn't do it.
So Eli's nail fell off. I remember.
No, and you kept it.
I kept it. It's in the album.
His nail.
Every single part.
I know.
Like everything that can fall off
And
is
eyelashes.
I'll just
saved.
keep it eyelash.
Oh my God.
It's so funny.
Every nail trimming. Okay, so going back.
Oh,
so that time it was like
Aaliyah was big, by the way. She was 8 pounds 11 ounces. Usually they're like 6 pounds or 7 pounds.
so she was
So she was
considered big.
She was a big baby.
She was a thickums.
She was 21 and a half inches. So
Is that long?
Yeah, she was long.
Okay.
She was long and big, but I think it's because she was already like cooking in there for so
Yeah.
long. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So then you have the worst pain ever. You feel like you're gonna die giving birth, and then as soon as it comes out, it's like
All of it stopped.
gone. Like,
Wow.
and you're just
Nice.
you just feel like finally.
Relief, huh?
And yeah, and they put the baby, and they're like, oh my god.
I know. I bet it feels satisfactory.
Yeah, and then you just see this like baby because you're like, I remember like when she was in my stomach and I would see her move and I'd be like, oh my god, like how does she look? How is she gonna be?
that
You know,
must
you
be
just
so cool.
imagine, and then you see it and you're finally like, oh my gosh, this is how she looks. Like,
Did you cry?
I'm pretty sure I did.
You're pretty sure. How about you, Jackie? Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Wow, that's so cool.
I think if I could like talk to myself in the past, I would tell myself to just be more patient. I think like when you're young, you're still learning patience. I notice like when you get older, you're more patient.
Girl.
But-
No.
and I feel like when you're young, you're a lot more selfish too. Like you kind of just care about yourself and you live in your own world. And then, so I was young. I was only 18. So I was still very selfish. I was still, like learning to be patient with her,
Oh, that's right. How you were 18 when you first
When I
went
had,
Aaliyah.
was I 18 or 19? No, I was 18.
And then you, Jackie, I didn't even.
When I had Eli, I was 26, 27.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Okay.
time goes by so fast. Like those sleepless nights and stuff, they go by and they end fast.
In the moment, it just seems
It
like
feels forever.
So you would be like, would you? I'm guessing you'd get like frustrated
Yeah, I would, cause okay.
about what?
I mean,
Crying.
everything. Yeah, like
That
crying.
I mean,
when
just-
berrinches, like when they throw tantrums and stuff, and it's like
yeah.
you have to kind of be like obviously this little human doesn't know how to express themselves with
Exactly.
words, so they throw tantrums. But you're fresh. Okay, like after I gave birth. Like 3 months in, I started school. So I was in school, I wasn't sleeping, and I was like, we were living in on our own, so I was having to do like stuff at home, like whatever. Mom
I
things.
bet your parents, both of you guys, I bet your parents were. Do you think they were a big help
Yes.
in raising? What?
My sister's like, I was the help. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For, at least for me, because I was in school, so
That's
and then
why
I
I
started work, so I was I was going to school in Alhambra, so I live in Palmdale, so it would take me like over an hour to get to school, and then I would be
Alhambra?
Alhambra.
Dang.
So I take the whole 14, the whole 210, and then I would start school, and it was from like I think it was from 12 to 8 or 12 to 7, something like that. So I'll be there all day, and then I'll come home. So obviously, like, my daughter was with my parents the whole time. If I didn't have my parents, I would not have been able to go to school. I wouldn't have been able to do anything, without my parents.
Well, let's give it up for Mara Gerardo
And Christy.
And Christy.
Christy helped me a lot.
Christy's here, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. And then Jackie, how did they react when they first knew about the pregnancy? Like, they found out about you being pregnant.
Keep in mind that we were already 4 years in our marriage.
In marriage.
And so they were expecting it. Like, they would always ask,
Like,
okay,
when?
so when?
Yeah, it's
It
been
would
4
be like,
years.
again, I know. And so they were so excited. I mean, it's first, Isa's side of the family, first grandson.
Yeah.
And so they spoiled him. They still do.
Yeah.
And so they were happy.
I know. I would see them with
nice.
some nice Jordans and like nice clothes and stuff.
It's because they say grandchildren are the best because they're like,
They-
you get all the fun
yeah.
times. And you're just like, oh, he pooped, here you go.
I know, huh?
Oh, he's crying
You don't really
here.
have to deal with all the itty gritty stuff of the baby.
You can always return them.
You can always return them.
Exactly.
My mom as well, she was always pushing us and pushing me because Isa already wanted babies. But I was kind of like, oh,
So
you
he
should
was
just
more
wait. Yeah,
pushing,
let's
pushing,
already
pushing.
have a baby. And I was just like, I'm not ready. I don't know. Like,
Like, you felt like it was a lot.
it was it is.
You realize it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of sacrifices, you know, and I knew that. And something that I was told Isa, I was like, I just don't want to experience that kind of love that hurts. You know, like that love that if you see your baby sick, it's going to hurt
gonna
me.
hurt.
Oh, yeah.
If you see your baby get hurt or like, you know, their
Anything?
first broken heart, it's going to hurt me. You
that's
know, if
right.
I see my baby get bullied, it's going to hurt me. You know, like I don't want to experience that. Like, so there was a point that I really didn't want kids until,
And you feel like that's why it took 4 years? Because you were like,
yeah.
I just want to wait.
Yes and no. I feel like, first of all, it was God's time.
Amen.
It's all in God's time. I was gonna go into detail, but I'm not.
Just say that for another time.
Another time. But it's just, you know, because we were married for so long, and obviously what married people do, you know, happens. And I wasn't getting pregnant, you know, I wasn't looking for it. But then Isa told me, like, I prayed that night. I prayed to God, like, you know, like, I want a son, God. And he gave it to him, you know, and it's so crazy because I remember how I found out. It was God told me. So Hermano Dennis came to.
So you didn't even take a pregnancy test?
I didn't take any well, afterwards.
Oh, okay.
So that week we came from where was it? Ecuador, I think, or Peru.
It was like a retreat.
Yeah, it was a
right?
retreat.
I think it was Peru.
I think it was the last one.
Yeah.
I
think it was Peru.
Yeah, it was Peru because we didn't have Eli at that time. So it was Peru. We came that weekend. We had service. And I remember Hermano Dennis came to me. He's like, so he came to prophesy to me. Like we were all in the front in the altar. And he came to me. He's like, hija mía, en tu vientre hay vida. And I was like, wait, like, so I took it like, wait,
like, what do you mean?
So I even went to him after church, like, Hermano, what did you mean by that?
Yeah.
Like,
And he's
what?
like, well, it's however God speaks to you. And I'm like, dang, God, like, are you telling me, like, I'm pregnant? And
like,
so
what?
it was 10 at night. I went to Walmart. Isa was working. And I got a pregnancy test, and it came out positive.
That is so
How was that moment?
You're
I
freaking
was
out.
freaking out. I was like,
No way.
I kind of wanted
didn't
to
believe it, huh?
cry.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God. Like, I was
pregnant.
accepting it. You know, I was like, oh
Like,
my
it's
God.
real.
Like, this is getting real. Like, all of a sudden, I want to be a mom.
And
you
this
know,
was the
like,
first time? You were-
And yeah, the first
my
time.
God.
And so I remember, like, me thinking, like, I want to do something so cute to Isa. Like, I don't want to just tell him, like, I'm pregnant. Like,
Oh,
I
you
did.
did something.
Yeah, so I remember the first person that knew was Danya, my sister-in-law. So she came that night. I don't know why she came. She just came to visit me. And I went to go get her from the car, and I was like, okay, I can't hold it. Like, I have to tell someone. And she's like, you're pregnant. And I'm like, yes. Like, how did you know? And I remember we were like dancing and jumping in the in the street, Dania.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So exciting.
My sister-in-law, not Dania.
Yeah, not this Dania.
Oh, I
But Isai's sister, younger sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
By the
And
way, if
so-
you're watching, Dania. All right, so I continue. My bad, I interrupted.
And so, yeah, and so how did I? Okay, so it took me a whole week. I don't even know why it took me a whole week to tell Isa. It wasn't
Oh my
even
goodness.
that big of a deal. I remember because it was his day off. So I waited for his day off, and I told him, "Hey, I want to take you out to dinner." And
Did he suspect anything?
no, nothing. I was hiding it so well. And so even though I think I had morning sickness, but he had no clue what that is. So I don't think any man
Just
like,
throwing up.
oh,
She's
just
real
sick.
good. She's fine. It was like projectile for me. Like he's like,
Santo.
yeah.
Like big chunks or?
Like I remember one time. Sorry, Jackie. I remember one time I was on my way to like school at ABC. And I was like driving, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I feel nauseous, and then I just went, like I was about to park, and I'm like, oh, guess I'm going home.
Oh my.
That was the worst. But anyway,
And you were driving the Mazda?
no, I was driving I had a Lancer,
Oh damn. Okay.
an old Lancer,
Not an Evo though.
No, like a very old, not even,
Like,
not even
dang,
cool.
man,
Yeah,
you
nice
driving a good
car.
No,
Show us a picture.
I don't have a picture. That's all I live.
Did your dad? Was it like a hand me down from your dad or your mom or something? Or they
It
bought
was
for
like it was. Yeah, my dad bought it for me. It was like it was her first car, and then her first car, and then her first car, and I was my
Ooh,
first car.
dang.
So it's your first
How
car.
old-
It was her first car.
the hand me down. Hey, how did Emmanuel Gerardo and Emmanuel Inez react?
Oh my gosh. So my
Oh my God, I
Okay,
wanna
so
know
I was 18. So for me, it was kind of like, what? You know, it was like. So first, I told my mom. I remember she was like in the bathroom cleaning, and then I was like, I
you
just like
nervous?
sat in there. Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to tell her like. What am I gonna do? And so I just like went in the bathroom and I closed the door and she was just like all cleaning and she's like, what? And I was like, nothing. Like
You only knew, mom.
What about you?
Wait, how long did it take for you to tell her? Like from the moment you found out to telling
Or
her?
was it like
no, it wasn't right away.
5 months pregnant?
I imagine?
Once I was 9
You call her-
months.
Like when I was in the hospital.
You caught her from the hospital.
Hey, I'm giving birth.
You're
You
gonna
guys
be a
wanna
grandma.
come?
I'm in labor.
You're a grandma.
Yeah. No, but yeah, she was in the bathroom cleaning, and I was just like, I have to tell you something, and she's like, what? She's like, what do you need to tell me? And then I told her I was pregnant, and then she kind of just didn't believe it. She was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And she just like sat down, and then she
Oh,
just got
man.
up and kept cleaning.
Really?
Yeah.
Like she could just
like I think she
process
was
it,
just in
huh?
shock. I think
Like,
she was
let me
like,
process this real quick.
yeah, and she's like, what? And then
Dang, that's crazy.
yeah,
That
but
is-
for me the hardest person to tell was my dad.
Oh.
Yeah, because I
Ooh.
grew up like such a huge like daddy's girl, so I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like to tell my dad, oh my god. I took a little bit longer. Like my mom already knew, but I wasn't ready to tell my dad. And then when I told my dad, like I couldn't even like look at him. I remember like I took off my glasses because I'm so blind.
So you were like, to make it better.
I can't see
I
him
was like,
anywhere.
now I can't see his reaction. I was like, I'm just gonna take him off.
funny.
And then like I just told him, and my dad, like I expected my dad to be like super angry or like yell or something, but he just sat there and he was just like calm. He was just like asking me questions, like
So what are you gonna do now?
yeah. And then,
Yeah, I think it's great to have parents who. So, for those who don't know, we're all believers here. And within the Christian worldview, if you fornicate, let's just put it that way, if you have sex before marriage, you know, it's considered wrong. It's a sin. And unfortunately, I know of a lot of people who they've told their parents,
and they
maybe
kick it off.
with that in mind, that they'll be understanding and help me. But I don't know why. I think we need to change our mentality and be like, okay, it happened. It's bad that it happened, but we'll be here for you.
Yeah.
And there are some parents out there
Yeah.
that sadly they don't do that. They cast their children away, or they're like, What? How could you possibly do that?
Yeah.
You know, it's bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's bad in what we believe in, but it shouldn't be to the point where you just completely like
Push
take
them
the
away.
person
Disown
out
your
of the
parent, your
house,
child.
disown your child, and you know, we Christians don't believe in this, but good luck with whatever you're gonna do, and don't even bring up the baby to me. We're not gonna have anything to do with him or her, and it sucks. And that's
Yeah,
actually
and
pretty
I
cool that
think-
your dad and your mom did that.
Yeah, I think a lot of girls that I have seen have been in the same position as me. It doesn't go as well for them when you have parents that don't support you. Like they have to work harder, or like, you know, I don't, like it's just it goes it's it,
It goes
it's worse for them like down the road. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like I had my parents, so like I'm so much better now. Like I could have been in such a much worse position.
it sucks that it happens and people get kicked out. And I think there was a time where me and Darlena, we went for her to get her hair done, and there was a girl there who was starting to tell us about her family and how her boyfriend's family, they have a child together, how her boyfriend's family wanted nothing to do with her. They just completely, they didn't like her. And I thought to myself, can you imagine, for example, me and Darlena, we get married, and my relationship with her family is a complete disaster. How would that be like? And how much it would suck for me not to be able to have a relationship with her mom, with her dad, with her sisters, with her brother, and just completely be absent. And then vice versa, for her to not have a relationship with my mom, with my dad, with my brother.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when you get married with that person, that other
You marry
know,
all of them.
it's in a sense you bring them all into the picture, because there's gonna be family gatherings. There's gonna be, you know, whatever you want to do, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever, 4th of July, all those things. What are you gonna do then? It sucks when you're in a family reunion
And you all
and like
hate
half
each
of the
other.
family isn't there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And so that's really cool that your parents did that for you, and they
Yeah.
weren't of that other spectrum where they were just like, it's your fault.
Good luck.
it out.
Yeah, like go do whatever you want. It sucks. It really does. What's like the funnest thing about being a mom? It's like showing your baby off.
Like, look how cute my baby is.
Yeah.
I think I mean it's
Just
so
seeing them
many.
grow up.
It's just
Watching them
building
grow,
like
watching-
having them build their personality.
Yeah, I was
Like,
about to
it's
say that,
just
their
so
character.
beautiful. Their character.
Eli, what personality do you think he leans more towards?
Eli
Like
is
yours, or,
towards what? I'm sorry.
like, does he lean more towards like he has your character, or does he have like more?
He
Isa's?
doesn't. Like
He has his
neither.
own.
Oh, none
He
of yours.
has
He
its
just has his
own.
own.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
Eli is like very like passive. He's a
peaceful
peacemaker.
person.
Yeah,
Yes, he's caring.
he's so caring. He's so loving. And then there's Ezra.
What is he like?
so
He's a
cute.
little Taz.
He's like
He's
crazy.
like
huh?
just. I mean, he's not. You know, Eli is very super active. Eli is everywhere. He's just so like energized and everything. Ezra is too, just a little less. But Ezra is here. Like he's so smart. That kid is so
Yes,
smart.
He's independent.
He's so independent. He's like,
He does his own thing.
oh my gosh, he's just like a little baby adult. Like, we call him the little boss baby because he's so.
You know, when I look at kids, some of them are so smart. And I was like, I don't remember being that smart when I was that young.
That's what I'm saying. Like at that age, like Eli's age, I was not confident at all. Like he is, you know. I was so shy. Like I was such a shy girl. And then I see my babies and I'm like, dang, I like have some sort of shyness, you know.
Yeah.
Like they're just so out
Just be
there,
so
like
out there.
Can you be a little shy?
just be a little shy.
Like with me, the reason why I asked that is because my mom, she tells me, I feel like you have my character. And it's because I'm so, how can I put
don't
it?
think so.
You don't think so?
I think you have a little bit of your dad's too.
Yeah, but I think the way I meant it is that at home. Like
okay.
over here, yes, because, you know, I'm trying to be out there. I'm trying to say hi to everybody, trying to talk to everybody. But at the house, it's like I take on not a different character, but it's just it comes out more because I'm so comfortable since it's my family that I'm talking
Yeah.
to. And we'll have like these disagreements with my parents, and I'm so like firm. And my mom, like, she's like that too. So she'll be like that, and she's like, "Tú tienes mi carácter."
Like, me gusta.
Yeah,
there you go.
Keep doing that.
That's my boy.
My son. That's my son.
How, like Aaliyah, whenever I see her, she's so
cute. I love her.
I know she's so smart and so
Sassy.
yeah. She has this sass to her where she's like,
Yeah.
I like when we went to eat for your parents' anniversary and Mano Gerardo's birthday. She got your phone, and she would tell me like, "Don't tell my mom." Like, I got her phone.
Yeah, she'll be cracking up, Mom.
Yeah, she's so funny, and I don't know, she's just so awesome. Every time I see her, she'll like say like some random thing that I don't even understand. Like, and then she'll like run.
You're like, yeah, okay.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It's
She's so
like,
cute.
I think, I mean, as time goes on, I think we'll see what character she develops. But as of now, obviously, she's just a little girl running around having fun with her friends and stuff. So that's super, super cool. I'm telling you, Aaliyah's, I don't know, there's just so many vague memories that I have of her, but she'll just like, the one memory I have is we were at church and she just starts like pulling on my pants. And I'm like, what's going on? And when she looks up at me, she's like, "Oh, you're not my dad." And then like she goes and like runs off. And I'm like, of course I'm not. Like,
You're like,
yeah, I'm like, Aaliyah, please.
Aaliyah.
Like, no.
I know.
What, this is another question I have for you guys. What would be, because we have to kind of put this into like a serious note, as much as we're laughing at school and stuff, but what would be one piece of advice that you feel like is the most important for somebody who right now is pregnant, if they ever get to watch it, or somebody who's just had their kid? Like, what do you think would be an advice you can give them that you think would help them?
Pregnancy or birth?
Yeah, let's do birth, because I think raising a child is... Because pregnancy is like you're already there. You get me?
There's really no advice.
Yeah,
it's
it's
always
just
something different.
Yeah, you just do it. But then raising
Raising a child?
I would say be patient and try to not yell at your child so much. Sometimes it's like a reaction.
Do you think spanking your kids bad?
Well, the Bible says that you should discipline your kids, and that if you don't discipline them, then you don't love them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think every child is different.
Yeah.
Because, well, my mom tells me that I was very hard-headed and I needed to be hit.
What would they do? Chancla?
La chancla or
Yeah,
el gancho?
cinturón, chancla, little vara.
Little varita.
Mom.
That's the biblical way.
I used
Hey,
to-
if you
yeah.
are going to spank your kids, get a little varita and...
My mom used to have a
Never
vara. I
the
used
hand.
to hide them.
Yeah, yeah. In love, though, because
Yeah.
don't
Always
be doing
go
it out of
to them
rage.
and tell them why.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I have spanked my kids, but I always just because
Explain it.
Yeah, explain it
And not do
'cause
it with anger. My mom tells me when you're gonna
Never.
spank him, don't do it because you're angry. Do it because you're doing it like to
to
learn.
yeah, have
There was
them
a-
learn a lesson.
There was a time where I think I was like 6, and I remember my dad, he grew up in a very violent household. And my dad, one day, I remember I wanted to go to the movies, but my grades weren't all there. And my dad was like, "No." And I threw the biggest berrinche to the point where he got super upset.
Ya no soy tu amigo.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I know what you're talking about. And I just got so upset, and I started throwing a tantrum to the point where he got so mad that he did hit me, but out of the impulse of like, I just want you to stop throwing this berrinche. And so I ended up like bleeding from my mouth because I was laying down when I was like kind of throwing this berrinche, and he just kind of like tried to do something and he hit me.
But yeah,
And I ended up bleeding. And I remember he vowed that day, he went up to me and he was like crying. He's like, "I promise you, I'm never going to do that again." And yeah, from that very moment on, he didn't. He just didn't. My mom, on the other hand, she'd be like,
She's
whip
like,
it.
"No, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
she'd
no."
She
whip it.
still does.
You know, it's funny. And I know maybe it wasn't the right way to do it, but I look back at it and I was like, I probably would have not learned any other way. And I think there's a misconception. I personally don't think spanking your kid is wrong, only if it's out of rage.
Yes.
And if it's out of you being super angry at them because they're defenseless. What are they going to do? They're not going to do anything. So you're the one that's in charge, but don't take advantage of that and just start.
Like, you got on my nerves today.
Yeah, like Jackie said, like sit down with them and tell them, you know what you did is wrong, and therefore, like, pull your pants down and like.
Yeah, and then for some kids it doesn't work. Like sometimes with Aaliyah, I've hit her very few times. But now that she's bigger, when I've tried to hit her, it doesn't work. Like, it just makes her more angry. And I have to wait till she calms down, and then I have to sit down and we have to be like, okay, why are you acting like this? You know, we'll have a conversation. And then in the end, she'll be like, I'm sorry, I was mean. Or she'll like, but spanking. There was one time, though, I was in Target, and there was this huge truck, and like she was throwing a tantrum, and she was like 2, and she was heavy, like, you know, and she let go of my arm, dude, and she ran into the middle of the street, and this big truck is like, oh my God, my heart, like, you know, like, can you imagine? Like, that's, so I grabbed her and I went in the car and I'm like, don't do that again.
Oh, and you did spank her.
Yeah, she was like probably like 2.
Oh,
that's crazy.
I think every day it's like it's a sacrifice. You know, I think the moment that you give birth, first of all, you sacrifice your sleep. So you can go to sleep. Yeah. But you can't. Like, you have a baby to take care of.
You're not going to sit down and
you
eat
cannot
a meal.
Just, you get hot.
We're going to be feeding the baby.
I mean, so it's not really about choices. It's more about sacrifices. It's more of giving up a lot of things.
Isn't it, what is it, like selflessness?
Selflessness.
Yeah, selflessness.
Yeah, definitely selflessness.
Because there's so much love.
Yeah, and you know, you just don't think about it. You really don't. Like, you just forget about yourself. I remember there was a moment where I would even forget how I looked. You know, I wouldn't even care how I looked. I didn't even wear makeup. I didn't even do my hair. I would forget to eat.
Like, I don't have time for nothing.
It just took me a week to shower.
I feel like the first 2 years are so rough. Like, like it's just like you don't even, like, you lose yourself a little bit because it's like your kid needs you so much. Like, I don't feel like until now, like maybe Ali turned 3 or 4, that I start to feel like more of a break.
Oof. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, I'm not a dad, nor, I think I'll wait a little longer. I mean, first we have to get married, so.
You guys have like a year and maybe kids, another year, 2 years. I'm kidding. 2
years.
But I think what I would have done differently, what I will do differently, because I think I look at my parents and I look at the good things they do, and they've done so many good things. Growing up, I remember my dad coming in when we were going to go to sleep and give us like a Bible story and just, oh, you know, David and Goliath. And he like reenacted with like acting and stuff. Awesome. He would take us to the park and we would play. But I look at the things that maybe I felt like affected me growing up. And one thing that I would do with my children is sit down and hear them out. Because sometimes when I would come to my parents and tell them like, oh, you know, this is what I think. No, how can you possibly think that? Like, that's wrong. And I think I would sit down with my children and really hear them out. Like, even if I know that they're wrong, like, just hear them out. And so that there's a sense of like, whenever I do come to my dad or with my mom, they'll listen to me. They won't tell me like, you're crazy. Like, get out of here. Like, go tell your friends, or like, it'll pass, or it'll. And I think for me, we look at the things that were bad, quote unquote, with our parents, and we try to be that better person with our children. And so that's why I think being there for your child, as maybe as embarrassing for them, it could be embarrassing for them to come and tell you, I did this, I did that. But you'll never know that if you're a person that just pushes them away, and you end up finding out like later, and in a bad way, instead of them telling you directly. So that's, I think, like I said, I'm not a mother, I'm not a father either, but I think that's what I would do.
That's a really good point.
It's a beautiful way to build a relationship with your kid.
Yeah.
And be involved, you know?
Yeah, because I don't want them to keep secrets from me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you're going out with a girl or if you're going out with a guy.
Even if it's a wrong thing, you know.
Yeah, even if it's wrong, like, hey, dad, like, I feel this. Or, hey, mom, I feel like this is what's going on. Okay, that's a perfectly normal thing. We're human. We go through that. Let's talk about it and sit down and, like, try to see what we can do. But instead of, like, come up with this, you know, how can you do that? You're wrong. And, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, I think, obviously, rebuke them and, like, exhort them and tell them, hey, you know, that's not good.
Yeah.
But in a nice and calm way, and to be able to grow a relationship, not as father and son or father and daughter, but
Like
as
as
like a
another
friend.
human. Yeah.
Yeah, as a friend. And for you to be that first person that they come and tell you what's going on. And I don't know if you guys, maybe that's like the similar advice that you guys would give. At least that's what I think I would do. I think if we ever get to that point, if God doesn't show up, if Jesus doesn't come whenever he wants to come, then that's what I would want to do. Is that I think that would be the one thing that I would try to do a little differently than my parents, even though they would hear me out, but we'd be like in debates.
Yeah.
Back and forth. Yeah, so I think that's the biggest advice that I would give. And take everything I say with a grain of salt, because, like I said, I'm not a dad. I
think
clarify.
that's a wise perspective, though.
Yeah.
Regardless
All right,
of
how about
being
you
a dad.
guys?
Okay. I would say, okay, so coming into motherhood, first of all, you come in clueless. I was clueless. I mean, this kid does not come with any instructions, you know, so
They're also different.
yeah, they're all different, and it's something new. And, you know, till this day, I go to bed and I pray and I'm like, God, did I do enough for my kid? And I think we can all relate in that, like
Yes.
as mothers, like, am I doing
Mom
good
guilt.
enough, you know? And I think we see so much, like so many things like on social media and like, you know, all this, they want to pretend or paint like a perfect picture
Right.
of mothers and motherhood. And a lot of times I can reflect that and I'm like, is this even real? Like, how is this mom looking that good? And it seems like she has everything under control and like everything just good, you know? And there's me where I'm like, man, my baby throws a lot of tantrums. You know, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, my I guess advice that I would give is just to keep in mind that you are doing the best you can. You know,
Yes.
like I feel like we all come in like as mothers, not knowing what to do, but just try your best. You know, be there for your kid. Talk to them, you know, even if it's, I mean,
4 in
they're
the
with
morning.
them. Yeah, like you're with them like 24/7. Well, at least I am.
Yeah.
And still, like, I still think like, am I doing good enough? Like, you know, like could I do better? Or, you know, stuff like that. Like just
I know
negative
exactly what you
thoughts
mean.
like that. But always just keep that to yourself. Like, you're doing the best you can, you know, like we're not.
Yeah, I agree with you.
not?
Like I feel like there's no better mom for your child than you. Like
Exactly.
nobody would know how to raise your child better than you. So
Yeah.
even if you're like it's hard and you feel like you're not doing a good job, like you're doing an amazing job, sweetie.
Yeah.
Like
It's
Yeah.
not
That's
easy.
good
You
advice.
know, it's not easy. So yeah, just take it day by day and spend time with your kids.
Yes.
Love them, you know, show them love. Instruct them with, you know, the word of God. I think that's the best advice
Yeah.
that I can give. Without God, honestly, like, I would be completely lost. Like, I would not know. I would feel like I'm not giving my babies the best that I can, which is God, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So-
think too, instruct them in the ways of the Lord.
Yes, amen.
Because children are such a huge blessing. You know, the Bible talks about them being the inheritance of God, the inheritance of the Lord. And they're these beings that need attention, need sacrificial love. And when the Bible even talks about how when you instruct them in the path, they'll never depart from it. Maybe they'll like one day
Stray away.
depart, but then
Always
they'll
come
always
back.
have that in mind. I remember my dad would tell me, like, don't do this, don't do that,
I
because
feel
God
like
is
you'll
watching.
never, like you will never feel like you fit in with the world because you grew up like in church,
Yeah.
know what the right way is. So I feel like even si se apartan, like I know that there's a point where they'll feel like this is not right.
I feel my God.
Like I'm
I
not
hear my God
happy.
calling me back.
Yeah. Honestly,
like
there's always
that,
going to be
yeah.
that voice that makes them feel
seed.
that seed
there.
that was planted when they were young. I remember there's a ton of testimonies that I've heard when they would say, and I would remember the stories that they would tell me when I was in Bible school. Or I remember when the teachers would tell me about Jesus and how he was forgiving and how he was loving. And that's things that won't leave. And it's just an amazing thing to see your children not only grow in the relationship with you and as parents, but also in the Lord too. And how, it's crazy when I see like the little kids like, lifting up their hands and like praying and dancing and singing.
It's beautiful. Me growing up, I didn't have that. I think I came to Christ knowing, like, really, truly knowing God is when I gave birth to Eli. And now I see my kids and I'm like, dang, this kid's know more Bible than I ever did at age 18, like, and it's beautiful to see that the Holy Spirit already in them. Yeah. Where they can even like discern what's good or bad, and or like moments where like, Mom, you're hurt, like, let me pray for you.
Oh my God.
I love it. I love it.
Aaliyah, she'll always be like, if there's a moment she's going to be scared, she'll be like, no, Jesus is with me. Like, we'll go on a roller coaster. She's like, no, I'm not scared, Mom. Jesus is with me. Why would I be scared?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, like,
that's so
pray
cool.
For me, pray
It's
for
beautiful.
me. Like, I
Today, Eli was like, so I don't know what happened. As he started saying, there's a ghost in the room. Okay,
Oh, really?
ghost. He's 3. Like, keep that in mind. Like, this kid, how does he even know about
like,
ghosts?
what do you know what that is?
Yeah. But he was talking about a ghost. And then Eli was like, no, in Jesus' name, it leaves now. It leaves now.
That is so
That's
And I'm
crazy.
like, oh my God, like, this kid is
learn.
like rebuking the spirit, whatever he's feeling,
Yeah.
But that's just beautiful. Like, I see them and I'm like, man, my babies are like, they're just, children of God, like, and knowing that I asked God for them, and I dedicated them to God, like, and I see the fruits in them.
Children are so rad, like rad. Yeah,
Yeah,
they are.
I know,
But
it's like,
they're like
Yeah, they are.
they believe with such a passion, and it reminds me of that verse where these children were approaching Jesus when he was teaching, and the disciples were like trying to keep them away from the Lord, and then he's like, "What are you doing? Like, let the children come to me, for theirs is the kingdom."
Yeah.
But it just reminds me of that because.
Yeah.
They
so
believe
pure.
with so much passion, and sometimes
It's so pure.
it's so pure,
yeah.
it's so innocent, and they believe it with like all their heart.
Yeah.
And it's
And there's no doubt in
insane.
them.
Yes, it's
There's-
insane to
it's-
see them do
That's
this,
how-
and sometimes
They teach me a lesson every day.
they can be an example to us,
Yeah.
like, and that's why I think Jesus said it. He's like, you need to be more like children.
Like
Yeah.
a child,
Yeah, take up the character of a child and like, in essence, believe how a child believes. They believe when you tell them we're gonna go to Chuck E. Cheese next week, they'll like remember the next day and the next day until the day comes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and they'll just believe
Yes,
it.
they will.
And that's absolutely insane. And for the people that are listening, if you are not Christian, whatever you want to call it, if you don't believe, if maybe you have your doubts, believe me, apart from all the hypocrisy that has been seen in the church, apart from all that, because that's wrong, but come to the Lord and watch that there is no better thing than being with the Lord. And that'll help you also instructing your children to be followers of the Lord and be loving, be compassionate, be merciful. And I believe there's no greater thing. Honestly, there really isn't. And if they do stray away, then God will find a way to bring them back. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for coming. Vanessa, Jackie, you guys have been super duper cool. And honestly, we could go on forever. There's so many other questions I have for you guys, but it's been an hour.
Yeah.
And I know
Part 1, part 2.
Darlena and Christy are like, when are these people going to finish? So, thank you guys so much for coming. And I really do appreciate it. And hopefully we can do other topics and stuff.
Yes, that was awesome.
All right, then you guys,
Thank
bye.
Thank you, bye.
We'll see you guys later. We'll see what we do. Peace.
I don't know how you're gonna dance.
All right.